What's good, people? Agent Jules reporting for duty. In today's episode of Making Cartoons, I'm going to be speed painting my other main character of Meanie and Happy Land, the one and only Melody Fluffs. Melody lives in the friendly universe of Euphoria, where she wishes to achieve her lifelong goal of joining the Happy Helpers, a local organization dedicated to befriending sad and wayward critters and helping them learn the ways of kindness and caring. In order to become a happy helper, Melody must first find her own sad and wayward critter and help them become happy. Once she does this, she'll officially become a full-fledged happy helper. And as luck would have it, there just so happens to be a rather grumpy new critter in town who just literally fell from the sky. Thus, Melody meets Adon, and our story begins. As a quick aside before we go further, a critter in this context is basically the name of Melody's species. They are anthropomorphic, cutesy woodland creatures. So just to make sure you guys are aware of that. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk design. I have two main goals when drawing Melody here. First off, she has to look cute and child-friendly, as all critters should. Secondly, and this is specific to Melody, she has to look meek. If I were to describe Melody in one word, I would say that she is a square. She's timid, milquetoast, a doormat, and a people pleaser, with just a little sprinkle of obsessive neuroticism to add a little bit of spice to that recipe. In regards to her cuteness, I'm trying to design her, and the other critters for that matter, with neoteny in mind. For those of you who have no idea what neoteny is technically defined as the retention by adults in a species of traits previously seen only in juveniles. These traits usually include things like big heads, big eyes, small and rounded bodies, basically all the traits that make things like babies and kittens and puppies cute. Neoteny is used a lot in animation. Think Disney characters. All those princesses and cute animals with those big adorable heads and large puppy dog eyes, that's neoteny. We are basically programmed biologically to see traits such as these big heads and small bodies and puppy dog eyes and yada yada as adorable. Ergo, critters, and therefore Melody, will have these traits. But for Melody specifically, I mentioned before that I consider her a square. I want to show that particular idea in this image. I want to make her body posture tight and awkward. I want to make her face convey a sense of politeness, masking an almost desperate desire for validation, and I want her hair and clothing to look frumpy and unassuming. Basically, I want her to look dweeby. And it's actually this desperate dweebiness to achieve validation via the friendship of others that makes her the prime candidate to take in Adon as her new friend. Because, in her mind, if she can please this scowling grump, she can prove herself to the world that she can basically please anyone. At one point during her earlier designs, I contemplated giving her big old dorky glasses, but I ultimately decided against it because I didn't want to draw them over and over. And I'd also feel like they would take away from her eyes, and another thing is that I think it would make her look too much like Velma Dinkley, and I'm already pushing that look with her hairdo and her turtleneck, so I don't really need to go all the way with that comparison. Another quick aside, you'll notice at some point in the speed paint that I redraw her hair and eyes several times over. This is because I'm a particular stickler for making them look just right, because she's going to be on screen more than anyone else other than Adon himself. So I want to make sure that they read well. Most artists cite hands as one of their biggest challenges. And, you know, I'm by no means a master artist, but I've kind of reached a point where hands don't generally bother me anymore, you know, barring outlandish poses. But hair is a big challenge for me, as well as eyes, particularly like in eyebrow expressions. Eyes don't really bother me, eyebrow expressions do. Mostly because, you know, I like conveying emotion so much through eyes and eyebrows. And that's why I went over the bangs and eyebrows like a gajillion times. I really want them to read just right. And on top of that, you'll notice I'm making her eyes and eyebrows show through her bangs. To be honest, that's actually something I've seen plenty of times before in other drawings, and apparently it's pretty common. See, when I was a younger artist, I thought that making eyes and eyebrows show through the hair was lazy and unprofessional, and that a true artist would hide those hideous things behind the bangs, like a good God-fearing Christian. It wasn't until much later that I was reading through an art tutorial that mentioned the fact that eyes and eyebrows are technically visible through the bangs, like in real people. Also, it helps to convey the emotions of a character more easily if you can see their full eyes and eyebrows in motion. And when I read that and, saw that tutorial, I thought, that actually kind of makes sense. So I ended up doing that. All right, I guess I should also go over the coloring a little bit. Eventually, in this speed paint, you're going to see me color this piece using the same colors from a previous drawing of Melody I made. In fact, you've probably seen me reference back and forth to this drawing quite a bit. Anyway, I want Melody's color scheme to be muted and unassuming, again, to play into her meek and milquetoast personality and her frumpy overall look. I did want at least one article of clothing to pop just a little bit, so I opted to color her turtleneck that garish purple color. Funny story, part of the reason why I gave her that turtleneck was because it's something that I myself would never in a million years want to wear myself. I basically sat down and thought, what is an article of clothing I would never be caught dead in? Probably a gross-ass purple turtleneck sweater. And then I threw it on one of my main characters. Now, I'm not knocking you if you like her sweater. It's just that it was important to me that she dressed like a total dweeb. And in order to really solidify that characterization, I wanted her to wear something that I personally would thought looked super, super dweeby. And it just adds to the endearment, I guess. So, everything about Melody's appearance needs to communicate to the audience everything about her personality. From her anatomical proportions and her posture, to her facial expressions, and even her color scheme. Basically, I want this image to say, well, golly gee, I'm sure happy to meet you, and I hope you're having a swell day. And if you need anything at all, please, please, please let me know, because I'm low-key desperate for approval from my peers, and I'm willing to go to questionable lengths to prove to you that I'm a friendly person. Okay, she's not that creepy. But you guys get the gist. So, did I succeed in my goal of conveying personality through image? Let me know in the comments below. Also, let us join in prayer as we press the sacred YouTube buttons, so that I may continue to provide tribute to you in the form of video entertainment. And also feel free to check me out on social media with the links provided in the description box down below. Anyway, that is all for this week. I hope you guys liked the speed paint. I hope you guys like Melody and her design. I hope you guys stick around, and until next time, deuces.